Hello, my name is Patrick Splichal. Last name is Splichal. I'm with SES and I'm a soil scientist. And as Amy just mentioned, I'm going to get into some of the deficiencies or details of the existing draft permit. First of all, when we look at animal head numbers, it's questionable whether they will really stay below 6,999. First of all, DNR uses a rolling average with their head numbers, which means there could be several times of the year where they actually have more animals than 6,999. And if they were at that stage, they would actually be a Class 1A operation, not a 1B, which is what they're trying to get permitted under a general permit. So that's the first thing. Along with that, it's not clear from the documentation that they provided with the draft permit with the building capacity whether they will really stay under that. First of all, they don't list stocking density within the buildings, so you don't really know how many head there'll be in each of the buildings. And secondly, they don't list head numbers per building. So there's no assurances with the way the draft permit is written right now that they will really stay under those head numbers. The next aspect I'd like to discuss is the maximum manure storage capacity of the operation. They're required under the general permit to have at least 180 days of storage. Well, that's not apparent in the permit, and the reason I say this is because within the confinement buildings, they're using a lot of the space within the confinement buildings to store their manure. The problem with their calculations is they're using the total floor space, and it's apparently they're using the total floor space of those buildings as manure storage, when in fact, if you look at photos of the building and aerial photos, there's 3 alleyways. There's one alleyway that goes down the middle of the building, and there's 2 alleyways on the outside of the building that take out significant floor space from those buildings, which manure cannot be stored in, at least not feasibly in my estimation. So it is questionable that they're really meeting the 180 days storage capacity. The next aspect that the general permit doesn't take into account is ammonia emissions, and I'm not talking about just air quality issues, I'm also talking about water quality. The ammonia will go up into the atmosphere and then it will come down through precipitation and be deposited in the nearby watersheds. So there's no accounting for how much ammonia emissions will come out of the building and be deposited and potentially impact water quality. We estimate through modeling that operation will generate 600 pounds per day or 65 tons per year of ammonia coming out of that operation, and it can have and will have water quality impacts. The next piece that somebody else earlier commented on is there's a big gap in the how they're going to actually handle the final manure, because roughly 30,000 tons a year out of the 106,000 tons is basically to be composted and exported. Well, there's no details at all within the permit exactly how that was going to be done. Who is going to do it? Where is it going to be done? And are there the logistical and business mechanisms in to where that manure is going to end up? And also with that, there's no assurances what the final disposition of the manure will even be in that scenario. So it's impossible to assess what the true impacts on water quality, not only within the CAFO's watershed, but nearby watersheds might be. And then when we move to the land application aspects of the nutrient management plan, the first thing I noted is that one of their land application areas is between Oak Grove and Green Valley, and that has a creek named Sniobar Creek that's on the impaired water list, the 303D list, for low dissolved oxygen. That's usually caused by eutrophication or nutrient loading of your streams.
There are 3 minutes.
Okay, and then lastly, the last point I'd like to bring up on the land application is this is a nitrogen-based plan, so they will be over-applying phosphorus by up to 550 pounds per acre per year. That is not a sustainable thing to do. Eventually, they will have to come up with another mechanism to handle all their manure. Thank you.
Thank you.